Lights on.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and I will call to the order of the January 21st meeting of the Saline County Board of Commissioners. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Chadwick.
Here.
Commissioner Grievous.
Here.
Commissioner Sparks.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Hay.
Okay. If you are all able to stand, please do so and join the flag salute following the moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we will move into a citizens' input portion of the meeting where members of the public may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes, and pertaining to items that will not be discussed on today's agenda. Are there any members who wish to speak?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tim Holm.
Good morning.
And I hope I'm not late to the party. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we had this big snowstorm.
Yep.
But I just wanted to thank the county and the road crews and everybody that's associated with clearing the roads. It was awesome. Heard a lot of great comments from our customers and our employees. And it's I just appreciate the effort that was put forth there. So just wanted to congratulate you for that, ask you to continue to put an effort there to keep these roads clean, and whoever that crew is, we're going to go out and see them here, I guess, in a week or so and thank them as well. But just want to tip our hats to you guys.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, and living in the county, I got to commend you also. That is, you guys have done a fabulous job. Okay, anyone else? At this time, we will move to our consent agenda, which consists of the following: the approval of tax roll adjustments, approval of accounts payable, approval of public forum agenda, approval of budget transfer to move unused rental funds to cover increased insurance cost, approval of sub-agreement with Saline Chamber for legislative services, cybersecurity grant amendment.
I move approval. Second the motion.
Is there any other, anybody else like to? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. This time we'll move into presentation.
Smart Rural Community Certificate by Friday Otuya from the Community Engagement Specialist by Next Tech.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, sirs. Good morning, Maz. My name is Friday Otuya. I work for Nextech, and this is my colleague, John Hendricks.
Could you please stand a little closer to the mic?
Okay.
Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Friday Otuya. I represent Nextech as the community engagement person. This is my colleague, John Hendricks. He manages our store here in town and manages many of our operations in town. The main reason why we're here today is to put a seal on something that has already been going on in the county, and that is Nextech fiber broadband. For some years now, for a while now, Nextech has been deploying cutting-edge, state-of-the-art fiber broadband to all parts of the county, and that would enable education, that would enable healthcare, that would enable many other cool things, that the digital world presents. And today, we want to present this certificate to the county. And what it does is to recognize the county and also the city as being a smart rural community. And what that means in practical terms is you guys have the best broadband technology out there in the world. So there is nothing better than fiber today in the world. It's better than wireless. It's better than cable. It's better than many others out there. So this would put a seal to that readiness of the county to say, you know what, we are ready for investment, we're ready to welcome businesses, we're ready to welcome entrepreneurs, we're ready to welcome our citizens can engage with the rest of the world, leveraging on fiber broadband. And that's what this certificate would signify today. But also, I would like to mention a few other initiatives that NextTech also we're up to. And the first is the revolving loan fund we have. So citizens of the county who have a business endeavor or entrepreneurial ideas, they can reach out to us and ask us more about our revolving loan fund and how that can help them expand their business or grow their business. Essentially, it's a low interest fund that we leverage across the NextTech footprint to help entrepreneurs to retain jobs and to expand jobs. So it's one of the initiatives we have, the revolving loan fund. And also, there is also a little, would I say, explainer about something that is important to rural communities and the rural places in the county, and that is the Universal Service Fund. This explainer is going to be in your packet later. You're going to get it, but it talks about, why communities like Saline County and other towns around need the Universal Service Fund. It's a federal fund that helps to subsidize the cost of broadband deployment in the rural areas, rural healthcare centers, rural schools, rural hospitals. So, and this basically explains what the fund does to for rural communities, and how rural communities can continue to advocate for the fund at the federal level. So that's what this explainer does. Before we go ahead and present the certificate because of time, I don't know if there are questions for me. No. And also, my colleague John, do you have a word or two to say?
Yeah. Sure. So we are currently working on installation in most of that rural area. A great deal of it's already completed. There's a little bit more splicing in part of that needs to be completed, as well as a little bit more mileage to do. But really, we are just about done with that grant area, and it's looking great. The installation, like I said, is in progress, and we're very happy. And it's a great thing for all of us to have here in rural Salina. So,
thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Before we present the certificate, we would have loved to play a video, but we don't have audio to play that video, so we'll just go ahead and present this.
Okay.
So, John.
Should I come down there?
Okay. It's always very interesting.
Thank you.
John can also, John, please hold the phone. Correct. That's it.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for your service and everything that you've accomplished out there.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do we need to click this right here? Okay, sure. Thanks.
Okay, number 2.
Recognition by David Turner, Fire Chief of the Saline County Rural Fire District Number 5. Michael Robinson, the Board Chairman from the Rural Fire District Number 5.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time. My name is Mike Robinson, and I'm the Chairman of Saline County Fire District Number 5's board. Today we are recognizing Fire Chief David Turner on his 40-plus years of service to District Number 5. Chief Turner started as a volunteer firefighter in May of 1984. David was then voted in as Fire Chief in March of 1998. At the time, they did not know the impact this man would have on District 5. This will be his 27th year as Fire Chief, and during his tenure, David has spent countless hours writing grants, speccing and purchasing fire apparatus to update our fleet, maintaining and updating our fire stations and all equipment, and training and mentoring young and new firefighters by putting on Firefighter 1 and 2 classes for all of Saline County. None of this includes the fire and EMS calls that he's responded to over the last 40 years at a moment's notice. Many holidays and family gatherings have been interrupted by the tones of the pager. A big thank you should also go to his family who has sacrificed their time over these years. In closing, on behalf of Saline County District Number 5's board and to every firefighter past and present, thank you, Fire Chief David Turner, for your continued service to Saline County Fire District Number 5.
I just want to commend you on your service and your years of service, and look forward to the next 10 years of service, and and all the expertise that you've brought to the rural fire district and helping us and everyone out there be safe. So,
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
and we have a
Mr.
certificate.
Chair, if I might,
Okay.
I had the opportunity to have David Turner assigned to my shift for many years at the Saline Fire Department. And I can tell you, his hard work and dedication was truly appreciated there also. He's a firefighter at heart, and he's the only firefighter who ever jumped from the rank of driver, equipment operator, to that of a battalion chief. It's never been done before, and that says a lot about his knowledge and his dedication. So thank you, David, for your 40 years with Saline County Fire.
Well, thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for you. So here, I better turn that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you.
David.
Okay, at this time, we'll move into action items.
Number 1, Community Corrections SUB bid award from the year 2025-16 by Michelle Callum, the Community Corrections Director.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Commissioners.
Michelle.
I am here today to ask for approval on the purchase of a 2025 Chevy Traverse all-wheel drive vehicle from Home Automotive. The cost of this purchase with our trade-in is $31,346. We opened up bids on January the 6th, and you can see, I believe that we submitted the paperwork that shows you the different bids. The low bid was Home Automotive here in Salina. I also wanted to mention that the irony of this is not lost, that I was here last week to talk about some potential cuts. But I want to be sure that everyone understands that this is money that we have budgeted. We are funded this year, and this would come from this year's budget. We are funded the same for next year. And we work hard to kind of look to the future and make sure that we have vehicles and computers and the equipment that we need, and we kind of have everything on a rotating schedule. So I want you to know that I understand the irony of that, but we have budgeted for this year. So alternatives for action are that you approve the purchase of the 2025 Chevy Traverse with the trade-in from Home Automotive. You could also approve a purchase of one of the other bids that we received, or that you deny the request. My recommendation is that we go forward with the purchase and the trade-in from Home Automotive in the amount of $31,346. This does replace an older vehicle that we have. It's a 2015 Ford Fusion, so it's at 10 years, and we do put a lot of miles on the cars to be out in the community and do the work that we do. Did you have any questions?
Is there any comments or from the commission? Questions? Is there anyone from the public? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, I will bring it back to the commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve RFA 2025-16 as presented.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid for $31,346. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 2.
2025 Superintendent Pickup 2025-10 by Darren Fisher, Road and Bridge Administrator.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Commissioners.
Darren.
This RFA is for the purchase of one new 2025 half-ton extended cab four-wheel drive superintendent's pickup. The truck was let out for bid in accordance with County Policy 50-01. Bids were opened on January 6th, 2025, and we received 4 bids as follows. Stivers CDJR for a Ram 1500, $49,163. Long MacArthur Ford for a Ford F-150, $51,995. Home Automotive for a 1500 Silverado, $56,737. And Legacy Brothers Fords for an F-150, $68,243.20. Upon review of the bid results, the vehicle proposed by Stivers does not have a V8 engine as specified. This engine is consistent with the V8 engine is consistent with current fleet and incurs lower maintenance costs over time. The alternatives for action: accept the bid from Long MacArthur Ford in the amount of $51,995. 2, accept the bid from Home Automotive in the amount of $56,737. 3, reject all bids and direct staff to an alternative. Staff recommends accepting the bid from Long MacArthur Ford. The Ram 1500 from Stivers CDJR does not meet the minimum bid requirement of a V8 engine. This vehicle replaces a 2014 extended cab pickup truck with 175,000 miles. Money will come from the Special Road and Bridge Equipment account, which has an unencumbered balance of $1,305,457.96. This will leave a balance of $1,253,462.96.
Okay, any questions or comments by the commission? I have a quick question here. It's you're looking at buying a half-ton pickup.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that I got to commend the Community Corrections on is that their bid package here showed all of their bids that they've got and their minimum requirements. Mm-hmm. And I really like that, because here I look at it and it's like, we really don't know, us as a commission don't know. We're going by your deal, but we don't see it. We don't have any other thing to really go by except what you've printed here. But the other thing is, what about this Long MacArthur for this half-ton, when you're going to, over here on the next deal, you're looking at buying a 1-ton cheaper than this half-ton?
You know, the main difference between the two vehicles is the 1-ton is a cab chassis only.
Right. And that's what I mean. What is your need and use of this half-ton?
It is the superintendent's truck.
And that's just to run around and check roads?
Yeah, that's Jerry Peters' truck.
Right. And so you really never have to pull a trailer or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And I just want to ask this question, is that, is there really why the specification has to have a V8 instead of, I mean, I'm just asking, instead
Sure.
of a V6?
You know, the V8s are naturally aspirated. The motors from the inline six at the Dodge would have been turbocharged, and there's just less maintenance requirements with those. And with a V8, you have more cylinders doing less work.
Okay. Right. Any other question? Anyone from the public like to speak? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a commission motion for the discussion or possible action?
I'll move that we approve request for action 2025-10.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve RFA 2025-10 as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3.
2025 Crew Cab Chassis 2025-09 by Darrell Fischel, the Road and Bridge Administrator.
Again,
Good morning, Darren. Again.
This RFA is for the purchase of one new 1-ton 4x2 crew cab chassis vehicle. We had a bid from Home Automotive for 3,500 HD crew cab chassis for $49,000, $785. Stivers CDJR, they did not specify the vehicle that they bid, but they bid $52,729. Legacy Brothers LLC bid a F-350 crew cab chassis, $64,335.50. Long MacArthur bid a Ford F-350 crew cab chassis, $54,363. The alternatives for action are to accept the quote from Home Automotive in the amount of $49,785, accept the quote from Stivers CDJR in the amount of $52,729, accept the quote from Long MacArthur in the amount of $54,363, accept the quote from Legacy Brothers LLC in the amount of $64,335, 4, reject the quotes and direct staff to an alternative course. Staff recommends purchasing the truck from Home Automotive. The truck to be replaced has outlived its service life in its current assignment. We typically purchase the crew trucks with the service body already installed. We are going to attempt to get 2 service lives out of the truck body by installing the old one on the new truck. This will save a considerable sum of money. Money to purchase the truck will come from the Special Road and Bridge Equipment account that has an unencumbered balance of $1,355,242.96. This will leave a balance of $1,305,457.96.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commission?
One quick question, Darren. The box that you're going to try to repurpose and use again, what kind of savings are you talking there?
You know, typically years past, when we would buy these, they were in the range of $70,000 to $75,000. So I would put the value of the box at 15 or 20. Now, that's just a wild guess.
Mm-hmm. And will that swap out be done by your shop?
Yes, it will. It will be done in-house.
Okay.
Okay. Any member of the public wish to speak? I will bring it back to the commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve RFA 2025-09 as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4.
Again, this is request for action is the award for the purchase of one new unused 2025 model year chassis cab truck. This will be our shop service truck with a 19,500-pound gross vehicle weight. Sealed bids were opened on January 6, 2025 at the City County Building. Bids were received from 2 bidders as followed. Long MacArthur from Saline, Kansas bid a Ford F-550. They bid $72,904. Stivers CDJR of Prattville, Alabama bid a Dodge Ram 5500. They bid $71,033. The above bid documents were checked and found to be in compliance with bid specifications. Alternatives for action are to accept the bid from Stivers CDJR for the Dodge Ram in the amount of $71,033. Accept the bid from Long MacArthur for the Ford F-550 in the amount of $72,904. Reject all bids and direct staff to an alternative. Staff recommends accepting the low bid of the new 2025 chassis cab pickup and award the bid to Stivers CDJR in the amount of $71,033. This truck will replace the chassis on a 2005 Ford F-550 with 22,283 miles. Saline County shop service personnel will make any repairs needed to the service body and place it on the new chassis. The Road and Bridge Special Equipment account has a current balance of $1,253,462.96. The award of the cab chassis is $71,033, which would leave an unencumbered balance of $1,182,429.96.
Any questions or comments by the commission? Just a quick question here is like on the item before when you purchased the 2025 crew cab, and it says that your encumbered balance after that purchase is $1,305,000. Then you go to this purchase and with the current balance of $1,253,000. Where did that $50,000?
You know, when I wrote these, I probably put them in a specific order, and they did not get read in that order.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. When I did them, I probably did them in a specific order, and that's not how they came out on the agenda.
Okay.
Assuming that prior things were passed, so you lowered your...
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That would be my error.
And I see it on the very first one, you did have the one, that same amount. So that's exactly what happened there. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I do have one question for Darren. Is that $71,000 from Stivers, is that delivered price?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. If there's no one from the public that'd like to speak, I'll bring it back to the commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve RFA 2025-17 as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve RFA 2025-17 as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 5.
Alcohol funds allocation for 2025-06 by the County Administrator, Phillips Smith Haynes.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Commission. So the county receives an annual allocation of funds from the state's gross receipts tax on alcoholic beverage purchases. And per state law, it's required that we divide that allocation up into 3 different funds. A portion of it goes to the general fund, but the majority of it goes to 2 other funds, one for special parks and recreation activities and one for special alcohol rehab and treatment activities. And it has been the practice of Saline County for a number of years to take applications for those annual allocations on a biennial basis and take applications every other year, have a committee review them, and then for the following year just sort of float those over. In 2024, actually in the fall of 2023, we did that for the 2024-2025 cycle. We did not get enough applications at that time for to expend the full amount of funds budgeted for 2024. So the commission decided at that time, upon recommendation from the subcommittee, to just only do the allocation for 2024 and take additional applications for 2025. So we took additional applications last fall for this year. We did get one new, I'm using new in air quotes, application because it's an entity that has applied previously, but they did not apply in 24. But the total amount of applications also increased compared to what was asked for last year and compared to what we have budgeted. So we have $20,000 budgeted in each of these 2 funds for this year. And the recommendation of the committee is to do what we have done in the past, which is just give each of the applicants a pro rata share of what they have applied for. So I'd be happy to answer additional questions.
Any questions or comments by the commission? Any comments or questions from the public? I'll bring it back to the commission for possible discussion or possible action.
I'll move that we approve request for action 2025-06.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve RFA 2025-06 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6.
Financing for Rural Fire District Number 3, Brookville Fire Station, 2025-11, by the Rural Fire District Number 3 Fire Chief Scott Avker.
So, Mr. Chair, the chief is not here this morning, and I believe their board treasurer was supposed to be here, but I do not see him either. I would recommend that we just skip ahead to item 8 and see if those gentlemen show up, and we can bring this item back up in a little bit.
All right. We'll just move on to item 8 then.
2025 County Commission recommended board appointments.
Okay. At this time, on the board appointments, we have most of them filled up at this time, except for the Cybersecurity Committee is one. Would there be anybody that would like to be on that committee?
I will.
You will? Okay, we'll put Monty Shadwick on that one. On the North Central Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention. Do we have a volunteer for that committee?
I can do it.
Okay, well,
Is that by Zoom?
I think it can be.
Yeah, because that's still in Junction City.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Around
yeah, I think it is.
different locations.
Great.
Okay, and then the Committee for Reducing Criminal Behavior.
I don't think that that's going to committee anymore.
Oh, you don't think that's even available? Okay. If we find out that it is a committee
And I
that's-
used to be on it.
and
Yeah.
it's defunct now?
No, we haven't met in over a year.
Okay. So, should we,
You put me on, I mean, I would just not have it as a committee anymore.
okay, let's just can we do that? Just remove that? I mean, I
Oh,
don't know.
absolutely, and I could bring back an RFA to officially kill it if
Okay.
that's the desire of the commission.
Okay. Well, with those two additions, I think that will fill the board schedules. So, do I have any other
I think
comments?
probably if you just read the whole list and then take
Okay.
a motion to confirm, and that'd
Okay,
be great.
all right. The Salina Airport Authority is Jim Weiss. The Salina Area Chamber of Commerce, Roger Sparks. Central Kansas Mental Health, Roger Sparks. Saline County City Building Authority is Monty Chadwick, Annie Grievous, and Joe Hay, Jr. Senior Services Committee, Jim Weiss. Tri-Rivers Fair Board, Annie Grievous. Health Department Advisory Council, Joe Hay, Jr. SCEDO, Joe Hay, Jr. Community Corrections Advisory Board, Roger Sparks. Salina Cares, Monty Shadwick. Cybersecurity Committee, Monty Shadwick. North Central Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention, Annie Grievous. And with that being said, do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to approve the board schedules. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for everyone. Okay, we'll go into
Informational items.
informational items. Yeah, I guess we're there at that point. And
Bless you.
go ahead.
DOS quarter update, October through December 2024, 2025-12 by Senior Services Director Rosie Walter.
Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning, Commissioners. This quarterly update is through October through December of 2024. Accomplishments include The center, we sent out a letter to our local foundations requesting funds for Meals on Wheels for Christmas and a new digital sign to replace the existing sign on the 9th Street lawn. We had 2 foundations that responded. The Earl Bain Foundation awarded $5,000 for Meals on Wheels Christmas and $20,000 for the new digital sign. The Verla Nesbitt Foundation awarded $9,000 for the Christmas for Meals on Wheels. Other fundraising is we do our letter campaign, and so far we still have funds coming in. We've raised $82,161. Last year, we raised $55,488, and these dollars are used to offset the cost of food and services or programming. Christmas for Meals on Wheels, we use the donations from the Verla Nesbitt Foundation for a variety of shelf-stable food, hygiene items, and Christmas candy that was provided for our homebound seniors. On December 13th, we had staff and vendors that came in. Each vendor donated an item for the bags, and we packed 285 bags that day, and then the sheriff's office delivered all of those bags for us. Events or other activities, we had our Veterans Day celebration on November 8th. It was a very wet day, lots of rain, so we ended up having to have it inside. We had snacks. We did a memorial walk with our flags inside instead of out in the lawn. We had vendors there that raffled off different prizes for our veterans. But yeah, it ended up, we had about 50 different people, veterans, that came and participated. Usually we have about closer to 100. And then the Trinity Food Contract, that has started now, but they actually came in on December 30th and the 31st, and they met with the existing Aladdin kitchen manager, and they went through all of the equipment in the kitchen and learned how to function, all of that. Then we had the Garage Automotive Museum. We co-partnered with them to have a $5 visit the museum. The Senior Center paid that $5, and that day was on November 15th, and we had a total of 55 seniors that participated. The National Association of Accountants, NACO, published an article in the December publication recognizing the Senior Center Theater Group. So it was a nice little article if you haven't seen it. And then our busiest days was our Turkey Day that a few of you actually came over and helped out that day. 674 is what we served that day. And the next busiest day, was no shocker, is fried chicken at 676 meals served that day. Meals on Wheels, with this recent snowstorm that we had, there was 4 days that we were unable to have our volunteers go out and deliver food. We knew the storm was coming, so we had 1 extra meal delivered. We weren't expecting to have 3 other days that our volunteers couldn't deliver, but they did have food. We delivered those Christmas bags that has a lot of shelf-stable food in it, so we sent a letter in those bags and just kind of detailed, that was the purpose of the bag. So if volunteers can't deliver, that they would have a food or a meal to eat that day. Okay, meals served. For this last quarter, October, December, we served 31,698 meals. And you see the division between Meals on Wheels and the dining room. And then the total meals served for the entire year of 2024 is 123,772. Of that amount, 115,551, or 93% of those, are subsidized food for our seniors. Full pay, 8,221, or 7%. And for a comparison, just so you can see what our growth has been, in 2023, from January to December, we served 116,265 meals. And then 2022, a little smaller growth between 22 and 23, 115,106. Plans. So repair of the garage and the 9th Street doors, the Dane Hansen Foundation previously awarded us $25,000 from our grant application. Those dollars will be used to finish the garage repairs and the 9th Street doors, to paint and make those more secure for the center. The Greater Salina Community Foundation for 2025 is coming up. It's March 13th. Again, it's at the Field House. This is an annual event that's hosted by the Greater Salina Community Foundation. Community Development Block Grant. We are working with the North Central Regional Planning Commission to write a community development block grant to replace our existing parking lot and then to replace the roof. And that grant is not due till November 2025, so we have a little bit of time. Moving on to the budget update. So revenue brought in for the quarter was $115,740, and the total revenue brought in by the senior center is $480,435. Expenses for October to December is $145,697. Our total expenses is $867,656, which was our entire budget. And then the cost to the county to operate the senior center is $387,220. And then I included on here the contract cost, because you know that is our biggest expense. So based on the meals served, the new contract cost would have been through December or January through November, because we don't have December's billing from our food contract provider, Aladdin. So the cost would have been, or for the new contract would be $511,526. That's the Trinity, what the contract would have been based on the population. So with Aladdin, January through November, it's $610,758. So with the new contract for the 11 months, we would have saved $99,232. Donations. So the senior center donations that we brought in 2024, $164,728. The carryover from the previous year is $160,555. Total expenses, mainly the food contract, $264,189. We have a balance of $61,094. But we have not paid Aladdin, our old food contract provider, yet, so that will probably eat up the bulk of those donor dollars, unfortunately. And then grants with donation, we have our Meals on Wheels America Pet Grant. We have a balance of $381.78. And then under the building grant and the Dane Hansen and the Bain Foundation, we have a balance of $45,000 in there to start our building improvements. And I'll take any questions.
I have a question. Chairman, I have a question.
Okay.
Rosie, can you just explain to me why you changed vendors for the contract food?
Yep. Aladdin, we had for quite a few years, but it was at the end of their contract. So the county put it back out for bid, and then we received 3 different bids for the food contract, and then we put that back in front of the county commission, and the county commission picked Trinity.
How's that going?
It's been a rocky few days, but I'm going to say overall you can see that it's improving day by day by day.
Good. I appreciate your work. You do a lot of good work. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any other comments by the commission? Questions? Okay. Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Engineering Quarterly Report from October 2024 to January 2025, 2025-07 by the County Engineer, Justin Matter.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Justin.
So this is my update since October of last year. You should have in your packet a map of our 2025 Road and Bridge program. We've also got it up here on the TV screens. So I'm going to start off with our accomplishments since October of last year. So we did finish our hot mix asphalt overlay and patching with APAC Kansas, and they completed all of their work for $1,227,244.31. We also finished up our bituminous crack seal. Payment Pros was a contractor for that, and they completed this work for $22,416.80. And finally, so we've been working with the North Central Regional Planning Commission on a SMART grant. And this grant supplied funds for 4 counties in Kansas to get an uncrewed aerial system, UAS. And so we did finally receive our drone, our photogrammetry sensor, and our LiDAR sensor. And so that was delivered, and we've been kind of training on that and trying to get familiar with this, and we're very excited about this new equipment and what it can do for our office. Okay, so now I'll move on to our 2025 contractual projects. I'll start off with our reinforced concrete box construction projects. So on the map, those are the light blue circles. So we do have 6 sites we're working on. The design of those sites have been completed, and we're working on the right-of-way acquisition and utility relocations. Most of the right-of-way has been acquired, but it seems like that last 10% of the right-of-way takes 90% of the time. And so we're kind of in that stage trying to get that completed. But I do expect that construction, we'll get that done, and probably expect a construction in late 2025 is what I'm thinking. So again, how we do almost all of our projects, once we put them out for bid, we give contractors a big window to get the work done, and that way we can get a better price that way because they're allowed to fit our work into their schedule a lot easier. Next, I'll move on to the Schipper Road, reinforced concrete box, and Simpson Road improvements. Reese Construction was awarded a contract for $309,501.60. This project also is being reimbursed $200,000 from the ARPA project. And so we are, I think when I submitted my documentation for this update, it shows that the construction is going to start in February. However, we did get an update from the contractor, and now they're thinking a late spring or summer construction for that. So I wish they would have stuck with the February because there's a lot of trees that we're going to have to be removing for that project, but it's just not the case. But again, that new time frame for construction does fit in the window that we provide them in the contract. Next is the Waterwell Road Bridge replacement project, and this is the project. It's a 180-foot, 3-span concrete bridge on Waterwell Road just east of Gypsum Valley Road. King Construction was awarded the contract for $825,548.62. They did start that work here this last fall, and I think right now they're working on driving piling on the East Pier on that. So that project is moving forward. And so far, we haven't had any issues. Surprises. You never want surprises, but it seems like they always find their way in construction projects, and we haven't had our surprise yet for this project, which has been nice. Next is our pipelining projects. Those are the green circles with the stars in on the map. We do have 21 locations picked out. Mayor Specialty Services is awarded that contract for $554,463.95. 3 of those sites have been completed. Those 3 sites are the ones that was getting the concrete liner on those, and those were finished last year. And so the remaining 18 sites, as it stands right now, are going to be completed in March, and those are getting the PVC liners on those. Moving on to our asphalt maintenance program. Start off with our hot mix asphalt overlay. On the map, that's the dark black line. So this year we plan on doing an overlay on Waterwell Road from Ohio Street east to the Smoky Hill River Bridge. And then we're going to keep going on Burma. So Burma Road, we overlaid that probably 2 years ago. From Old 40 down to Menor, and so we're going to keep going south on that one. So on Burma Road, we're going to go from Smolin Road to Hedberg Road. And also just to put some perspective onto things here, you know, for this type of work, we're looking at about $227,000 a mile. That does include not just the overlay, but also the shouldering. You know, so the costs for this type of work can add up pretty quick. But that just gives you some perspective. It didn't seem like it was that long ago when we were getting this work done for $160,000 a mile. So just like everything else, it's you know, the cost of this work has really gone up quite a bit. Next is our bituminous chip seal, and that's the blue line on the map. Right now we've got 31 miles currently planned. That's a little bit lower than what we've had in the past, and so once we get ready to, you know, to really start putting this work out for bid, we'll go and reevaluate the roads. But right now we're looking at 31 miles. And again, just to put some perspective on it, the estimate for this type of work is about $27,500 per mile. Next is our crack seal. That's typically, you know, the red line on the map, but we have not identified those roads yet. Usually we try to do that in the spring. Most of the cracks that we have on our roads are from freeze thaw of the asphalt, and so, you know, which we're really going through that pretty heavy right now, and so we like to wait until a lot of that freeze thaw is done, you know, for the year, and then go and evaluate those roads for the crack seal. And then finally, our aggregate shouldering, that'll be a green line on a map, but we identify those in the late fall. You know, this is usually winter work for us. And so, you know, we usually try to push that off as late as possible. You know, a lot of the issues we have with a shoulder drop-off, you know, is for those wide agricultural vehicles going down the road. You know, they put that one tire down on the shoulder and start wearing that down. And so we like to wait until the very end of the year when the contractors are going to actually be interested in doing the work, and we'll evaluate the roads and then identify which ones are just going to be have a shouldering project on there. All right, so now moving on to our road improvement project, Ohio Street. So this is a project, an improvement project from Minner Road to Waterwell Road. So, you know, it's currently a gravel road. And the scope of this project, what we're going to do is we're going to elevate it about 18 inches. We're going to add an aggregate, about 3 inches of aggregate on top of the new fill, the road fill. But then we're going to go through and add a chemical base stabilizer. And we're going to mix that in with 3 inches of rock and 3 inches of the new road fill, and that'll really stabilize it, and it'll really add a lot of strength to the road. And so hopefully it'll not just cut down on the dust, but it'll also cut down on the just the road degrading. You know, there's a lot of stagnant water. I mean, it's just a flat grade through there, and so water kind of stands there. And so we're going to regrade the ditches and all new pipes, and so hopefully we can get the water to move a little bit better. But also that base stabilization will also help support that the road where it's just kind of saturated because the water doesn't move very good. So right now we're still kind of working on the design, finalizing that, but I do anticipating a 2025 construction time frame on that. Next, bridge inspection. So every 2 years, the feds require all bridges to be inspected, and we're coming up onto that cycle. We've got about 220 bridges in the county, and that's using the federal definition of a bridge. So anything over 20 feet span, we have to inspect, and so we're up for that cycle. So I've got two new technicians. They've been here about a year, but they're going to go out and help with those bridge inspections. So what that means is all of my staff is going to be out in the field for the next month and a half to 2 months doing bridge inspections. You know, and so really progress on other projects will slow down quite a bit because it's just going to be me in the office working. You know, working for that. I don't see an issue with that, but that will definitely have some effect. And then finally, our material bids. So right now we have two bids out being advertised. One is our pipe and end sections, and we're going to open those bids on February 10th. And then our traffic paint and beads, we're going to open the bids on February 17th. However, that's a holiday, and so we moved that to the 18th on that. So next, moving into our budget update section. So for contractual asphalt work, I'm working off of a budget of about $3,009,000, and where that's coming from is we've got a budget line item of $2.8 million, and then in the past, the commission has allowed me to use our federal fund exchange monies that we get from the state, which is about $209,000, and we apply that towards our asphalt maintenance program. So my estimated construction cost is about $2.7 million, and so that'll leave about $267,000 left. We'll use that for any change orders that come up throughout the year, but also we use that money for a cash carryover to the next year as well. Our 124 account, which is our special road construction, also, it's a lot of times referred to as the 1 mil. However, this year, I believe it's only funded at a $500,000 for that program or for that fund, but it's got a current unencumbered balance of $2,126,000 and some change. So the Ohio Street project that I just talked about, the expense of that project will come out of this. But after the Ohio Street project, we really don't have a road improvement project that we've been working on. I've been trying to, I just haven't really had a consensus of the board of a project that that we want to move forward with. A road improvement project takes several years to get developed, to get out for bid. It depending on the project, but a lot of times it takes several years. And so I really want to focus on selecting a project that has the support of the board that we can move forward with. But I really want to be working on that on our next study session out of the Road and Bridge department, our office, which I believe is in March. Just to kind of give us an idea from my office to kind of start moving forward on another project. Also at the very last there on my document here, again, just to put into perspective, so if we were going to upgrade a gravel road to an asphalt surface road, it's going to cost around $1.25 to $1.5 million per mile to do that. So that can, we got a balance of, $2.1 million, but if we're going to upgrade a road, it's going to eat that up pretty quick. Next, our 125 account, which are our special bridge construction fund, and it's a 2 mil fund is a lot of times what it's referred to. It has a current unencumbered balance of $679,800. And with this fund, that's where we pay our reinforced concrete box projects, our concrete span bridges like we're doing on Waterwell Road, our pipelining, and our pipe purchases. And then finally, our 127 account, which is our special highway improvement fund. It has a current unencumbered balance of $2,661,000 and some change. So that's it. Any questions?
Good report. Yeah, good report. But I have a quick question here. Like on the Ohio Street, and you talk about the chemical-based stabilizer, do you have an idea what the cost is on that per mile?
Right now, I've got a cost. I couldn't tell you what that is. I've got a cost for the material. I don't have a cost. I mean, on the top of my head, I've got an estimate put together, but.
Well, the reason for my question is that it's like where we have certain other areas around the county that have a large problem with dusting a lot, in residential areas. I just wanted to know, is this something that we could look at adding to the gravel or the sand in those areas to help that dust control in those areas?
I mean, it can be used. I mean, this is one product, and there's a lot of products out there that'll do that. As far as like dust control, I don't have a lot of experience with that, so that would be, more with maintenance and Darren, because he's got some experience, and that, they've talked about there's some issues with doing a product like this. I mean, because once it's down, it turns hard, almost like concrete. Okay. The one benefit that we're doing on this one here, because a lot of dust control products, you're just spraying on the top of the surface, and so it only penetrates, an inch to 2 inches. And what I understand can happen is you'll get potholes, because that stabilization isn't very deep. It'll pop out like an asphalt road. And then you got problems because you can't just go in there and blade it because it's too hard to do that. For this project here, what we're trying is we're going down 6 inches deep. And so you got a lot deeper section, and so that could help. But again, I don't want to say, we can do this anywhere, because there's other maintenance issues that I believe that can come up that I just don't know. I just don't have the experience with.
And another quick question here is on this Ohio Street Improvement Project. Knowing and driving that quite often, is that it pretty much is in a floodplain right now, that whole road. So do you look at going in and adding a lot of culverts down through there to get the water from the west side to the east side while you're doing this?
Yeah. So there's, so the east side of the road, is what's supposed to flow all the water out. But you got to take the water really from Menor 1.5 miles north with 1/10% grade. Yeah. That is flat. And so, that's what we're doing. We're adding pipes, new pipes. We're using steel pipe instead of a corrugated metal, because of the flat grade. There needs to be quite a bit of maintenance involved. I mean, the ditches are going to silt up very quick, because the water just can't move fast enough. Right. And so there needs to be a lot of work done on those in the future, and steel pipes will take a lot better hit, from a motor grader trying to clean ditches than a corrugated metal pipe. And so, so we're replacing all of those. All of the entrance pipes are being replaced. So we can get, when we're done, it's about a flat grade, and a good grade without having high spots and low spots as we can get. So it's going to be a little challenging. I'm hoping we can get a contractor with some GPS grade control, so they can plug in a model, and I think we'll get a lot better project, with that type of grading on it, because it's so flat. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a lot better than what it is now. I mean, especially just elevating the road out of the water.
And just one other quick question here, because it's like, once that's finished, do you see an issue of it making it worse flooding on the east side with those few houses that are down through there?
No.
Okay.
I think it's, because we're clearing all that out. I got a verbal okay. So there's a tree row. Let's see. So you have all those houses on the south end of the project there off of Menor, but north of those houses there's a tree line through there, and the landowner said that it would be okay if we could tear those out, and that'll help, allow the maintenance to keep that cleaned out through there, because right now the trees are actually the problem. That's really doesn't allow the water to flow real well through there, and so that'll help a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you. Very good report.
All right. Thank you.
Number 3.
County Administrator Update by Philip Smith Haynes, the County Administrator.
Good morning, Philip.
Good morning again, Commissioners. So I just wanted to provide a brief update on legislation in Topeka. Last week was the first week of the new biennium for the Kansas legislature. Being the first week of a brand new legislature, they didn't do a lot in terms of action items. There were a lot of informational hearings. They did have one thing that's of interest to counties. They did have a hearing on a potential constitutional amendment to cap valuation increases on residential properties. So we'll see where that goes. Kind of the big news for the legislature this year. The governor always introduces her budget the first week of the session, which she did do on Thursday, but the legislature is working on their own budget proposals this year as well. And they're also looking at doing a condensed schedule for the session where they would actually adjourn after 90 calendar days rather than 90 working days. So that could potentially affect what gets through the process this year. Sean Robertson is actually in Topeka this morning testifying to the Senate Tax Committee on personal property exemptions, but not a lot yet to report. Just like to keep this item on every week during the session in case there's some late breaking news. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner comments?
I really don't. I don't have anything.
I'll say I did attend the Department of Senior Services meeting, but I have nothing to share because Rosie shared it all here.
I did attend the KAC new commission orientation in Topeka with Phil, and I thought it was mostly good.
Mostly good.
Well, I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
but it was mostly good.
Okay, great. Okay.
Any announcements?
So I'll just say under announcements that next Tuesday will be a study session. We'll be over at Court Services Training Room, so the old jail training room. And we will have a facilitated conversation amongst the commissioners about this year upcoming. And we will be back here on February 4th for our regular meeting and our first little work session of the year before the regular meeting. In view of the fact that nobody from District 3 has appeared yet, I would also recommend that the commission just move to table action items 6 and 7 and take those up on the 4th.
So moved.
Second the motion.
We have a motion to table 6 and 7. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.